East Europe Foundation, and Ivan Laktionov, Deputy Executive Director on Innovation Project, Transparency International Ukraine. Our jury will project based on the following criteria: anti-corruption and social impact, possibility to resolve social, environmental, economic, and other problems, use of open data, innovative nature of solutions, possibility of implementation of the project within 100 days and ensuring its sustainable development, versatility and broad range of skills and knowledge that members is presentation of the project, 5 first teams in the first half and then 5 other teams. Then we shall have a short break and we shall ask online viewers not to leave us. And then we shall get to know who will share the prize fund. Each team will have 8 minutes for presentation. Time will be on the screen. As soon as the time ends, I will stop you. And then you will have 6 more minutes for questions and answers from jury members. I think the teams are ready. I can judge it from your eyes. And I can invite the first team, which is called Nora and Construction Personal Income Tax. They tried to develop optimal model of tax system. Sasha from the rating company will introduce it. I welcome you all. Everybody knows that personal income tax paid by military personnel will come back to the revenues of the state budget. But let us see what is happening with personal income tax. What is the gap between planned revenues and actual revenues? Every country has such problems. It's the issue that tax office is caring for, because tax revenues help to defend our country. There are construction projects where construction is done from state budget money, from international financial assistance money, and the necessary calculation of cost documents are being developed, including the article tax paid, and business is working with state funds in transparent way. We try to make rating of companies that pay taxes properly. But who is the personal income tax? If taxes are not paid and the work is finished, closed, later the additional calculation of taxes will be provided, and then the company should pay it. So we analyze the statements of completed works and reports of the company, and we calculate delta, the gap, to realize what is the situation in the country. What is the biggest value? If 100% of taxes included in the cost estimates is paid, no money is left for corruption deals. And if all workers in the companies are employed officially, then taxes are paid and responsibility is higher. We took 5 cases to demonstrate it. Each case has its value. The first, we know that this quarter, public data about tax paid per 1 liter of benzene was showed. The company who didn't pay taxes lost its license and the company was closed. In 2024, this money, tax paid by military servicemen, will go not to local but to state budget. A third case is additional charges of taxes to gambling business. It's an interesting case that officials calculated how much was underpaid and what should be paid additionally. And the team of member parliament had to pay it, and this amount was 10 times more than the amount that they paid last year. The case of the team is controlled. They controlled what amount of taxes is paid. They made analysis of our Internal Revenue Service of United States, how they calculate these ratings of the companies that pay taxes. The main problem is that underreporting and underpayment, which amounts to almost 13 billion US dollars underpayment to the state budget. We use open data, register of license documents, average salary in construction sector from State Statistics Office, based on qualification of the worker, average salary in the community, and financial reporting. Project team has experience of this kind of work. Temporary Investigative Commission of Verkhovna Rada used our experience when they liquidated state construction inspection. So we have experience in anti-corruption monitoring. Ex-ante, Irina and Dmitro are members of our team. Budget is supposed to be divided for development, drafting methodology, how we shall make compilations, design, and partially marketing and taxes. What are the objectives of the project? To elaborate first model of calculations for the sector. How much tax revenues will increase due to additional calculations for all reconstructions projects, because they are implemented for budgetary money, and the target audience are those who make calculations and accountants who are closing the documentation and are responsible for paying taxes. Sustainability of the project due to efficiency. You can see how Musk is coming to India and is bargaining for the percentage of taxes, because tax revenues are important even for Musk. The company that re-registered the company and will pay taxes, this tax revenues will be reinvested into infrastructure. This company, they plan to build new ski resorts. Timeline is divided in 3 months. First is data processing, second, formation of analytical pages, dashboards, and communication program.
As we can see, OKOV publish this data on their official pages, official accounts, how much taxes they have paid per person. That is official information on salaries, on payrolls, and in this way, the company confirms that the calculations were performed correctly, and social contribution into the industry has been paid by the company. Decisions are made based on NORA business analytics system. And remember, if taxes are not paid and works have been completed, additional taxes will have to be charged to make sure they are paid in full. Thank you. The first one was a bit difficult to start, but anyway, great job. Do you have any questions, dear participants? I see that you have your the question. Tanya, over to you. Thank you, Alexander, for your presentation. If we talk about tax oversight, how are you planning to work to engage with fiscal authorities? We understand that this is the public project, but how to reinforce oversight? The public may not be sufficient as the public lacks necessary tools, but perhaps it would make sense to involve tax authorities. We did not consider involving tax authorities, state fiscal authorities, but we considered relying on the state audit service because since September, we are able to upload the budget cost estimate information. It can become publicly available, and in this way, you can have calculations you can review and analyze. Earlier, the tax authorities did not have access to this information, and now this information is fully available. How much you plan for salaries, for payroll, and all social contributions and taxes. And the fiscal authorities may either follow our model or create their own model to see if the tax payments have been duly made and planned for. I have a question. Earlier, you mentioned at the beginning of your presentation, you mentioned that the system of Prozoro will be used to upload the budget cost estimates. Yes, it is planned like this, and later it will be there will be communication between two databases. But the cost estimate is not always the real statistics of the construction. But of course, the construction project may be prolonged over 2 or 3 years. Of course, you take this basic budget cost estimate, but how is it going to work in practice? Because the budget cost estimate is not necessarily the final cost of construction. There will be delivery acceptance acts on service delivery. And how is it going to work in the budget cost estimate? We have the entire section dedicated to payrolls. Of course, there are certain factors that are changing all the time, such as minimum wage and there is a possibility in this system to update the budget cost estimate, but it gives the general overview over the costs planned for the project, and out of not okay, out of the total budget, you may pay back to the budget not 30% of social contributions and other mandatory payments, but pay just 1%, okay? But for the state budget, it would mean shortage of revenue from taxes and social contributions. But of course, there is a general cost, the cost of construction work, furniture. There is no line on payroll, but that is for indicators that you have mentioned. But since September, it is a mandatory field to upload all the data on payroll, and the Prime Minister has published the post that all the data are already accessible and available so that all tender participants can download this information and develop their tender bid offers. And that is something new, because earlier only invited participants of the tender would be offered this information and requested to provide their applications and inputs. We have 30 seconds. Over to you. What do you take as open data, open information from the open data portal, register of permits, salaries, information from the State Service of Statistics. It is changing every year, this information, data on financial reporting. What else? That's it, I think. Think about what the data are missing. We can consider working together. If you lack some data, we can work together with the register administrators to make sure there is cross-register communication and interface. Thank you very much. Dear friends, we proceed to, to discuss the presentation of the second team, Medicines Control. That is a digital tool for parents. It was launched earlier this year, and it already engaged the audience of about 20,000 participants. And I would like to welcome the chatbot, I'll Be Mother. Over to you. Thank you. Are you ready? Yes, I am. Okay, carry on. My name is Natalia Guran. I am the head of the non-governmental organization Medicine Control. Our project to create a chatbot, I'll Be Mother, is aimed at countering corruption in the healthcare sector. You know about the demographic crisis that Ukraine currently finds itself in. We are amidst this demographic crisis, and our project is designed to prevent this crisis from unfolding in the future. Our target audience are young people, young future parents that know little about the program of the public guarantees in the field of the healthcare sector, against the backdrop of the lack of trust in state institutions and rather challenging attitude. What does the government do for us? Nothing. And another problem is that young people tolerate informal payments, they believe that they should pay extra to the doctor to get service or service well delivered. We conducted survey using social media, and we found out that more than 50% of young mothers paid for delivery at the maternity center. 40% paid charitable contributions, 66% know nothing about the program of medical guarantees. Our target audience is young women, future mothers, and the women of reproductive age. According to the state statistics, information at the age of first pregnancy and the first motherhood is 25.5 years. These are very young people. Our chatbot, I'll Be Mother, is already available on Telegram, and we plan to promote it. It contains a number of services, list of free of charge lab tests and medical examinations depending on the week of pregnancy, closest help with finding closest delivery facility or maternity center, and memos, future information for future mothers, and information on vaccination within the framework of agreement between the EU and Ukraine. We have one of the targets to increase the level of vaccination in our country. And the aim of the project is to prevent would-be mothers from paying unofficial payments and guide them throughout their pregnancy and the motherhood and services that they can get from the state. We want to develop zero tolerance to corruption culture, relying on positive life experience when young people understand how the healthcare system is working and get convinced that they are eligible to receive free of charge healthcare services. And we are going to educate our target audience about their rights. And we want to make sure that pregnant women do not have a choice if they can afford a good meal today or whether she has to pay for ultrasound diagnostics to check on her baby. Our project is aimed at strengthening communication and visibility of uh, of this project, and we also offer such product as the calendar of free of charge pregnancy. We rely on open data and we worked together with the National Health Care Service of Ukraine, and this cooperation helped us to improve the quality of our data. We rely on the information from the reports on expenditures and expenses of healthcare service providers when a patient is being told that a patient has to pay 200 hryvnias charitable contribution into the clinic fund. We are telling the patient, look, the government has already paid 6,000 hryvnias for observing your pregnancy, and they will be paid for your delivery. So our communication will be based on such rationale. Our project team consists of the staff that have prior experience in implementing IT projects, digital projects, and also we have several team members who communicate and who are interface of communication with pregnant women. They know this target audience intimately. We plan to finalize functionality development of key functionality, and we will proceed with launching the project very soon. Our objectives are to involve a greater number of women and expand our coverage throughout reaching out to healthcare clinics, maternity centers, and the number of our users has increased from 10,000 users to 12,000 users. We have the projects that were launched back in 2015, and we are learning from our experience and we are developing our project, taking it further. We have devised communication campaign, route of free of charge pregnancy. We want to show that throughout your pregnancy, you can receive free of charge services. In addition to the nationwide coverage that we plan as part of our communication campaign, we plan to work with communities. We want to show them that this is like that nationwide, but in your community, it will be like this. Thank you very much. Do we have questions? Yes, we do have questions. Ivan, over to you. Thank you very much. I actually downloaded your app. I tried using it. I am not familiar with many specifics. I have no children. I would like to ask you, do you have a life experience or life success story of one of your users who was really helped by your application? like somebody avoided giving a bribe to a doctor. Yes, indeed, we have many stories like that. We conducted a mini competition in the social media, and we asked our users to share their experiences of using chat this chatbot, and they have been telling us that wow, I paid for ultrasound examination earlier, but I realized thanks to your chatbot that I don't have to pay for it. We get some messages and feedbacks from internally displaced persons. If a young person, one lady 24 years old coming from Mariupol, and she wrote to us that she used our application and information that she received from us, and she went to the maternity hospital, and she realized that she can get free of charge services, and they did not expect the level of services to be that high. Irina has a question. I would like to ask you about your cooperation with healthcare establishments. You said you were going to distribute printed materials. I would like to ask you, did you have a similar situation that have you done it already? If the medical healthcare establishment is used to taking these payments, bribes, what would be the benefit for them of distributing such materials? Yes, we do have consistent cooperation, and following the first presentation, we have extended the outreach to more than 10 maternity hospitals that want to take the healthcare reform further. They want to deliver free of charge services, and they are competing for patients. Also, we have created photo frames earlier, and photo frames were one of our products, and on the photo frame we would write down what are the lab tests can be provided on a free of charge basis. In fact, we do have the list or register of maternity hospitals who want to work in a fair way and work with us. Thank you very much. You said that you created the calendar of free of charge pregnancy. Can it lead to the situation that if there are some difficulties, some complications along the way, that they are not covered such services to address the complications, and can it lead to the fact that the pregnant woman can miss some of the important stage in the pregnancy? The calendar has been developed in cooperation with the medical doctors according to the up-to-date standards of healthcare. So this calendar is a truly comprehensive document, and it includes all the checkups that a pregnant woman is due to have. And some patients may say, okay, I was informed that that checkup is not necessary, but looking at your calendar, I understand that I have to follow it. In our country, there is a trend to become more friendly towards pregnant women.
Швидко і те ж саме відповідь.
Наталя, які ж набори відкритих даних ви будете використовувати?
Which sets of open data you use? Numerous open data sets. Agreements signed between healthcare facility and National Health Service. Payment for medical services. We shall use additional register centers for provision of administrative services to direct parents Now you got free health services. Now you can go to these centers and get again free administrative services. To say simply to people don't pay bribes, it doesn't work. When a young person gets this experience, time is part. So you answered the question. Okay, thank you very much. I will interrupt you because I must check the time. We continue. Next is team number 3, representatives of GIDNO NGO that use information technology to resolve socially important problems. Air defense alarm. For those who watch us online, please go to a safe place. We are in the basement. We are in a bomb shelter of a kind. We should not change location. Luckily, if we can call it luckily. Uh, but others, please go to bomb shelter. So we continue. Presentation of teams. HITNO organization that is using information technology to resolve socially significant problems. They will present a project called Division, analytical instrument for monitoring on government spending with the analysis of possible risks. Take the microphone, please, and click it. Let's go. According to our experience, management of any level requires data. The more data, the better, especially if they are in the form of graphs. But whether it resolves problem, division. Division helps to resolve problems. We open economic potential using modern mechanisms of data processing. There are plenty of services, plenty of data, but you lose the mere essence. And those who do not want to be demonstrated are lost. Those who want to be hidden. What do we get as a result? Can business plan its future? Can business expect that he will get the payment for the contract work if he doesn't have introductions with proper people? History, risks, connections. We can take data about transactions, data about agreements and orders, can combine them and create a new data set. We can take data on planned budget and about future projects. In such a case, we should get analytical data, what was there, what is being done now, and what will be done in the future. Regarding financial figures, accordingly, that will enable us not just to analyze current activity, but we should have possibility to think about future. Our customers are already using some of the technology. Script for economic police. We are now conducting talks with Prozoro platforms, but these are key cases that we are making upon the order. Due to your order, we can make a public platform where each business, each organization can work with analytical information and risks of the future. Future risk, this is participation of tenders of the same organization, possibilities of dual financing in future projects, and not only. Cases of using data are numerous. I shall not speak much about our team. In the last 5 or 6 years, we're working together and have successful projects. Sustainability of development or absence of funding have never been problems for our implementation of projects. We're shall implement this project ourselves within a year and a year and a half. With your help, we shall do it within 3 months. First month, we elicit. Second month, we start public campaign using consumers. Third month, we shall start stable production of our products. Feedback is also important. 3K, communications, users and clients. In Ukrainian, they all start from letter K. Sustainability includes several things: team, then vision of development, and third, financial potential, which is based on free model. If you want to work with data, you get a free package. If you want to work with more profound data, there are two paid packages. So you trust, but you should check. I'm waiting for your question. I didn't expect that you will finish so quickly, 4 minutes. So we have more questions? Time. Let us see, is it worth it? A classical question from this set. What open data you used? Things are very easy. We talk more not about open data, about their use, their management. We use general register. We use open budget. We use transactions. We use Dream. Based on all that, we make analysis of the data. We are making what was promised for more than several years by the state. What do you mean by transactions? E-data. E-data promised for several years to publish connection between transaction and Prozoro. We are ready to do it. Potentially, the data that you will form, are you ready to give it to the open data portal to start collaborating with the manager of data who will download them the open data? We are ready for that, but we should talk with this manager of the data. Talking about open data, we're the biggest owner of data from e-data. We have more data than e-data. We made a study of transactions that are disappearing, so we are to a great extent manager of data than they. How would you assess script that you wrote? How exactly it picks up the data? It's a wonderful question. There are errors. We're working to improve it, maybe 50 or 60%. We have millions of transactions. We have no possibility to make comparison. Our analysis work with tax police, they are happy, 100%. I don't know whether I answered your question. They could have found it somewhere else. No, they could not. They asked for our help. Other questions? So much time left. Could you bring back the slide about project development, 3K? 3,000 users. They are our main focus. How do you see further development? You make basic MVP project. How you will use further users? We are conducting talks with the platform based on several requests that we received. We want to implement it for all transactions, for all history. We are talking with the platforms. They're ready for two variants of integration. Either they get it from us through VPI, or they reflect our portal. For them, important is to demonstrate that state institutions as a customer are very reliable, so they are willing to do it. Source of data are the platforms. We have our own information resource, more than 12,000 users that we apply. The lion's part of our budget is communication. As far as I remember, more than 30% invested in communication. The value of product development is a good thing, but communication part is important, and feedback was expanded. Thank you very much for your presentation, very quickly and with high quality. Thank you. We shall continue. Some more time is left. It doesn't mean that other teams get more time for presentations. You all have equal rights. Next team is Clarity Project. that is well known in open data community for many years, is working on analysis of open data and has its support group, which are applauding them already. Their new project, Clarity Community, it puts with analytical data in the context of community. Let's go. I welcome you all. If I could ask you how much your community spent for drones, the answer would be look at Prozoro. But if I would ask you how many enterprises from your community pay taxes, difficult. How many enterprises you need? More difficult to answer. How many people are working there? Difficult to answer. So lack of information is a problem, especially in communities, and I hope that our project will help to resolve it. The problem of shortage of information about economy in the regions. Because of that, we don't have sufficient reporting and transparency is lack of information for potential investors. Dashboard is solution. As the previous Minister of Cabinet Ministers was saying, show me your dashboard and I will tell you who you are. We shall make system of dashboards with analytical data regarding particular settlement that will be integrated in our main project. In these dashboards, we'll have our enterprises, their debts, tax paid, their revenues, procurement, auctions, and reconstruction plans. All that with history. You can see dynamic development, how that will audience, local authorities, they are supposed to take some decisions, business community, potential or not potential investors, journalists and civil society organization, and residents of community. We have one direct competitor. At pre-pitch, we were asked to tell in more detail what they are doing, but we cannot do it. We tried to buy access, and 2 times we didn't get the answer. What they are doing, we do not know, but we know that they exist. Judging from 3-year-old video, they are making a particular community analysis manually, but we shall make it for all communities, and the user can prepay access to all communities, not to one particular community. Other communities, a system of dashboards from open data, from rating, but they speak not about community so much, but about the economy in general. Open data that we shall use. We shall get from what existence, single register, Prozoro, procurement, financial reporting, e-construction, DREAM, inspection portal. So we shall see what will happen if they will open cadastre of real estate, if the data will be open. Our main team, backbone, 4 persons, me, our director, our business expert, and our lawyer. We have 2 programmers and 2 managers, and we shall engage external implementing agencies. Budget. Marketing, administrative expenditures, and others. For marketing, we allocate 11%. We are existing company with existing product. Most of marketing will be covered by our own forces. What are the objectives? That at least 10 communities become our customers, 100 totally by the end of the year, 1,000 visitors, and 5 publications in media publishing our data. Sustainability. In the first year, we want to earn 1.9 million, 100 communities multiplied by the cost, it's 1.9 million. First half a year, we are ready to provide all that for free for everyone. Then access Upon subscription, you will get more profound analysis. Then we shall probably make a separate product at stage 3. We have not decided it. In February, basic part of the project will be issued. If you have some questions, I'm ready to answer them.
Я бачу, що у нас пішов аншлаг коротких доповідей.
I see that brief presentations are coming.
Чи ви
Victor,
шляхом?
I can guess what your questions will be. No, I will ask other questions. Please tell me,
Зменшити ризики корупції,
how
використовуючи вашу
can
систему?
you reduce risk of corruption using your system?
Який антикорупційний ефект?
What anti-corruption effect your project will be? When talking about corruption at people-to-people level, we cannot do it. Given a bribe to a hospital doctor, we shall not resolve it. Corruption at higher level, probably yes. Looking at statistical data, we shall see where money appears and where money disappears, and why. If we look at the data, which taxes were directed and which taxes were not directed, and analyze it. Our objective is to provide information. We do not investigate. We're not police. We cannot investigate. Why? Would you have dashboards will allow locals and government bodies to see economic activity or inactivity and to make conclusions. This is the objective, to see dashboard with economic activity, both in general about community and about each particular enterprise. Thank you.
Чи є у нас ще запитання?
Do we have more questions? You had calculations, what you expect. This. As far as I understand, this instrument doesn't exist. This is only idea. 100 communities. What for? Community will pay 19,000 hryvnias. Each community has its own department of investment. They know even by name all their enterprises who provide revenues into their budget. How realistic it that they will pay 19,000? We already got 3 or 4 communities that are interested. Of course, 3 or 4 and 100 is too much. We have not started the project yet, but we have 3 potential clients already. So I shall think about more questions. We have time. More questions? Nadia. Thank you for the presentation. I would like to come back to the question of communication and dissemination, popularizing your project. You said that you will invest 11% for marketing. How are you planning to popularize the project? I believe that you can make a great AT tool, but if nobody knows about it, it will remain on the shelf. Wonderful question. We have not been discussing in detail yet how we shall do it. We have already a project with about 700,000 users. Even if 1% is interested in other project, that is good. Second, we have communication with certain communities who are potentially interested, and we are hoping for some cooperation with them. And next, 5 publications in media. We have contact with certain media for whom analytical materials on that issue are of interest. I think we shall succeed. Please tell me, talking about communities that are potentially interested in cooperation, please, you must not name them, but can you tell me, where is it? West part, center, Ukraine, east? No, I will not remember because it was not me who communicated. Thank you. More questions?
І немає у нас запитань.
No
І це
question.
прекрасно. Іване, може,
Wonderful.
Ні? Точно? Добре.
Іван? Perhaps you have a question? No? Okay, great. Thank you for your excellent presentation. And now,
Отже, друзі, у нас з
dear
вами
friends, we
така
have
команда, і
the
я думаю, що
next project
ймовірно
that
більшість
will
організацій,
present
які зараз нас дивляться в онлайні
will be
і живуть в
presented
сусідніх
by
країнах, так чи
their
інакше
team.
хоча б один раз користувалися
Most
сервісом
of the
Open Datathon.
viewers
Підніміть руки, хто
who
користувався.
are
Ну, в
viewing
принципі, вже
this
потихеньку
presentation
переходимо.
online, you probably know
Зможуть
Open Data
знайомитися,
Bot.
відстежувати
The new
прогрес
project
документації, яка
by
стосується
this team
консультацій та
will enable you
корупційні
to
ризики. Представляю процес.
track
Корупційні
the
ризики на
permits,
будівництві Open Data
licenses,
Bot
and
оптимізує
the
процес.
overall
Дуже
corruption
дякую.
risks
Я
in the
Олексій Жаба, юридичний
construction
засновник
sector. I am
компанії
Alexei, I am
Трейдпо.
co-founder
Зараз
and
Open Data Bot – це 4
the
мільйони
project
людей
manager.
за місяць на
Open
сайті, 1
Data
мільйон
Bot, that is 4 million
і
people on the website
2,5
monthly,
мільйона
1 million
підключень
people
за API. Ми
using
вважаємо
chatbot,
корупцію
and
зараз одною з найбільших проблем
1.5
в світі.
million
Вона
people
заважає нам
connected to
розвивати
us
розпочати
using
країну
API.
в майбутньому,
Corruption
робити
is
там
one of the major
заважати
problems that
її
now
відбудовувати. Ці
impedes
сфери
with Ukraine and our nation's
забудували
efforts
своє відношення
in
до
defending
цієї
ourselves,
проблеми.
and
І
in the
враховуючи
future it will be
передбачення,
such a
що
hindrance
ця
in the
боротьба, яка у нас
post-war
така
recovery.
безконечна в країні,
We
вона ж
are seeing
проводиться
that
у більшості свого то завіювання
efforts
фасадом.
to overcome
Ми
corruption
більшість людей
in our
вірять,
country
що якщо ми всіх
are
виведемо,
limited
порозстріляємо,
to
то потім
the
ми
efforts
переможемо,
of
потім всіх
replacing
порозстріляємо,
people
а за
at
мить
their
хто буде
positions. People
добре.
may
Але
believe that once we take
є
out the current leadership and bring in new
і ми
people, and
збираємо
then we
людей, які
punish
вірять, що це
those who we
питання
dismissed,
системи
that will be it. But
ще схильне до
not
корупції,
at
це
all.
той випадок, який
How to
ми
create
повинні
systems
не
that
поборотись,
are
зменшити,
not
боротись
prone to
це ми
corruption?
ніколи її не поборемо.
If
Але
we
нам
fight
потрібно її
corruption,
зменшити,
we
щоб
won't be able
фактично
to
країна
overcome it.
могла
But if we reduce corruption, we
існувати.
are able to do it, to enable our country
Ми вибрали
to
напрямок
carry on,
будівництва,
to
бо,
continue.
по-перше,
We
є
have
дані,
identified
по-друге, це
construction
критична
sector as
інфраструктура для
the
людей.
core
І
sector
ось
for our
цей
project
чудовий такий
because we
життєвий
have the open data
зв'язок,
and because
який
you can
має
see it every day.
обмеження
On
містобудівним
this
30 метрів,
picture,
він
you
зараз
can
продає
see the
25-й
housing
поверх
residential
або 23
complex
поверхи. Тобто, якщо
in Lviv.
поставити
They are
заявку в мерії,
selling
які купили одну з квартир,
25
вона залишиться без
stories
Це така
in
картинка,
this
коли
building, but it is not
деякі
allowed
міста
officially
навіть
unless they bribe the
так сталося.
uh,
Ми
Lviv
розуміємо,
city
що
mayor's office.
Львів
They won't be able to
фінансово
build
неконкурентна
that
зміни
many
в дозвільній
stories in
документації
the building,
відбуваються,
the apartments on
можна
which
так
they have
сказати.
already sold.
І до
But
чого це
what's
приводить?
happening
По-перше,
and what is happening behind the
і ось
public
ми
domain, open domain, you know that corruption kills. This is the photo from
синьому авіаційному
on
резервному
the
коридорі, на якому потім
that
побудували
shows
багатоповерховий
the
будинок. Вона показує, як
route
це може бути в реальному
which
житті.
was taken by the
Звичайно, що коли
team of
будується без дозволів, там
one of the law
здійснюється
enforcement
пропаганда не тільки на
agencies,
тому,
and
що
they were flying along this
дозволи не
corridor
видають,
outlined in
швидше за все,
blue, but
а потім ці дозволи
skyscrapers
стягуються
were
через
built
час.
across this way. And what happened? You know, the
Ні
uh,
каналізації, ні мереж, ні дорог.
helicopter
Тобто, якщо у
crushed.
вас буде
And you
черга
know,
на
if you
ліфті,
build something
звичайно, ви
without
розумієте, що
permits, you understand
зміст і
what it
сенс,
can lead
вони
to
були пов'язані з
traffic,
владою
congested
місцевою, яка
traffic,
пов'язана
and
з
also
будівниками
long
місцевими, яке
queues
пов'язане
to any
з правоохоронними
institution,
органами
healthcare
місцевими. Тому ці
establishment, or
безпеки, ці
when you get
стражинки, це
any
незалежно від
service, you will have to cope
є
with
правозахисна
crowds. So,
організація.
but
Також
we
будівники,
deal with a
які
number of
зберемо всі
Human
дозволи,
Rights Watch and
документи,
non-governmental organizations that control
що
this sector. And
проводиться
what
землею,
our project is doing, actually, we are gathering
відповідно до
information
місцевого
across construction
законодавства,
sites across the country, and
щоб
we are going
максимально
up to the level of final beneficiaries or
і
final
головне формувати
beneficiary customers,
інформацію
and we are
в цих
trying
більшості
to
через зміни,
shape
які
up
відбуваються в цій
two types of information. First is the changes, what is happening with the construction permits and the land permits issued. And the second group of information, that is corruption risks. And the third group of information is related to general ordinary construction risks. What happens if some occurrence comes or some circumstances appear. On this slide, you can see the map of construction sites in Kyiv city. We we will rely on the data that we have, that we rely on the data that we have across all state registers, and we will involve the entire team, Open Databot, and we'll have our team working on it, and the content development and the editorial stuff that we have in our team. On the one hand, uh, we have the automatic data processing, but we understand that without communication with regional media, without their training, we won't be able to proceed. That is why 20% of our budget will be spent on that. How are we going to earn money? We understand that there are people that are buying housing even nowadays. Yes, there are such people that keep on buying housing. For those people, it is crucial that their money, probably that's the last money that they have to spend it. They want to spend it on risk-free projects, free from corruption risks or general construction risks. That is why if a person would like to conduct an audit of the project, he or she may be able to order this service to pay for this audit, and we understand that a person may spend 2 or 3 months to select the house of his or her dream or apartment of his or her dream, and we do it on a free of charge basis. Monitoring that we conducted has shown that 40% of the construction sites or construction objects may run into problems, and we want to find this 10% of projects that have risks and build develop relationships with about 50 regional media that are working with our materials, and we want to sell about 50 audits. We want to show it as the first accomplishments since our project is launched, and 2 months later we'll be able in the position to earn money. That's our plan. Communication plan. Before, we posted something like 1 news per month, then 2 posts per month, and then 1 post per week. Time for your questions.
У мене свій. Питання?
I have a question. You mentioned monitor estate project, and we have also colleagues from Urban Data who will participate in our event today. What will be the major difference between this service provided by Monitor Estate and now colleagues from Urban Data are doing it? And what's the difference, and what module you would like to introduce? First of all, we always had more data than they have services or functionality. We have capacity, and we are checking 100,000 companies per day. And let's be open with each other. Monitor State used on our data. And when the register of construction sites was open, we actually insisted on adding a specific section to this information on this register, feasibility study or economic calculation figures, like how many stories or what's the expected height of this building, how you can trace it down if it's in line with the legislation or regulations. Okay, thank you. Do you have other questions? Yes, just a moment. I will open my note. You were showing the previous slide about risks. Yes, as a general idea, this is pretty cool, but what people are going to see there, in addition to number of stories in the building, and that is Protasov Yar. They were building their residential building in the park. How can you get the permit to build a house in the park, and people were investing money into it? So there is a major restriction to build in the park. Second, no permits to construct. Third, entire chain, beneficiary, customer, client, connection with the Russian Federation. Then we look for connections with local communities, and then we if they changed something, and then first they devised it as a public building, sort of, and later on they changed it to multi-apartment residential complex, multi-story building. I have no questions. Thank you. Who else? Who else has questions? No questions. Thank you very much for your presentation. Take your seat, please. Dear friends, we have already listened to the presentations by 5 teams, and now we're going to have 10 minutes break so that our online viewers can have tea or coffee, and for us it will be useful too to grab something to eat or to drink, and we come back at And second, the considering the needs of target audiences and their family members, public sector, and the government. And the third thing that we need is advocacy campaign. If we do that, two sets of data, data about the need and data about locations, and information campaign that will enable us to develop a robust tool and project, and it will result in creation of barrier-free environments. We have created chatbot and a map to find barrier-free locations. We have created tools and functionality to enable users to add locations and to check if accessibility is really provided there. I will explain what is happening with this. When we talk about chatbot and map, it means that we want to consolidate all the data on barrier-free environment to clean up this map and to develop the mobile app downloadable to your smartphones to enable users to look for locations and enable feedback functionality, because not all locations are really barrier-free, although they may declare themselves being barrier-free. And that is the second part of this is analytical dashboard to develop data to work with these locations. And another functionality is ability to add new location using Google tables and verify the geographic coordinates and the exact location. How does it contribute to developing the ecosystem? When we share the data on geographic coordinates, on locations, when we share this information with target groups, it hasn't been studied actually, but when we create the information campaign, it will enable the citizens and to contribute to build inclusive society. For activists, it would mean defragmentation of efforts and better efficiency in use of funds. And in terms of uniqueness and competition, there is no competition. We do not compete with anybody. There is no consolidated database across locations or needs of the target audiences. When and if we create this data and when we develop our own solution and make it public, we enable the entire system to develop. And when we talk about open data, we have a set of open data about accessibility of buildings for people with disabilities. There are open data on Prozoro. This data will never be fully open and available because it's coming behind the construction. So there may be some discrepancy in the speed of data appearance. And who is actually doing it? A team of Accessible Project that participated in implementation of the project's invincibility points. And where is my shelter? Natalia Parhitko, that is coordinator of the barrier-free environment projects and the coordinated projects of invincibility points, and looking for my shelter, closest shelter. Now, budget of the project, 1,059,000 hryvnias. 1/3 of this money will go for preparation, 1/3 for development of the solution, and the third is support of this project. The objectives of the project are to create the consolidated database over 3,000 locations regarding sustainability. This is not a commercial project. We want to charge our subscribers, and we rely on grant funding, and this is the grant project. The next grant we are considering is to involve, grant project is to involve civil society organizations to request them to verify such locations. And the next stage in our project development is development of the routes, because not only does it matter for a person with disability to know where he or she can access public place, a barrier-free place, but he or she should be able to plan how to get there, to develop the routes. Timeline of the project, it will last from December till March 2024, including communication campaign, communication plan. This is great that we can rely on the communication resources of our partners. We have conducted successful negotiations. That's it. I am happy to answer your questions.
Завжди. Раз, два.
Раз. Ваш додаток я також скачав, але він не працює.
I downloaded your application, but it does not work. Good question. There is a there is non-governmental organization, Accessible UA. It contains the information on a lot of locations, but if we work with their application developed by NGO accessible.ua, we have to consolidate the data, and following that, it will be working, because somebody has gathered information on barrier-free environments, locations in Khmelnytsk region, somebody in another region, but all in all, for a person with disability, the major problem is, you know what, and it doesn't help. If somebody has application, but it's a separate story, we want to consolidate this information. Any other comments or question?
Питання, але додатку 2 роки. Я подивився.
Yes, but I understand that this application has been developed 2 years ago. Yes, that's why we suggest creating a chatbot. But if you want to develop the route right now, it is not possible. Why? In order to be able to develop the route, it is necessary to consolidate information on all locations. When you gather information on locations, you have to gather information on routes. You can do it using OpenStreetMap. You can develop a route between different locations. Do you have an example? Can you show us?
Так, як відбувається прокладання маршрутів, маєте на увазі? Як ви це тестуєте ручками, фактично, ви ж це хтось робить, правильно? Перевіряєте.
How can you do it? Explain to me using just one example. You can develop the route not just from barrier-free place to another barrier-free place. Using Telegram or Viber, using Google Map, you can do it easily. But in order to create the route for person with disability, you need to gather information on taxi that provides services to people using wheelchairs, etc. It requires a lot of prior work to gather information.
Для цього треба спочатку зібрати дані. Тобто ми не можемо зараз цього показати, бо ще не зібрані.
We cannot show it now because data has not been collected yet.
Наступне питання. У нас небагато.
Next question, please. Not much time is left.
Так, дякую. В нас один з індикаторів оцінювання.
One of the indicators of today's assessment is anti-corruption and social effect. With social impact, all is clear. Do you have any anti-corruption impact? Thank you for your question. We are talking about reconstruction. We're talking about reconstruction for disabled persons, That is happening now. There are construction norms regarding creating barrier-free space. There are no mechanism of public control. We are creating instruments not only for people with disability, but for the civil sector. Work with this data, and that makes action of authority transparent, and the public can control actions of government in reconstruction. If anyone reports that we have constructed pandas here or there, we can check whether it's built or whether it's usable.
Дякую дуже за презентацію.
Thank you very much for your presentation. As regards further project development, you mentioned further grant support. But if you visualize the situation, you win the competition, implemented your project, 100 days finished, what are you doing next? What happens with your project? Already now, we are preparing to submit for the second grant proposal for civil society organizations. First, we should resolve technical issue, collect data about locations and needs. This is very important. Many different solutions open for people with disability, but there are other audiences, not only the disabled persons, civil sector. We collect our data, create our products, open it for other participants, launch verification by public sector, and then we switch to the next stage with the engagement of civil society. Thank you. But if we simplify it very much, 100-day finish, what happens with chatbots? Will team maintain it? Technically, we included into the budget maintaining chatbot, 15% of the budget to maintain this project at least for 1 year, and technical team supports it, and we have time to make next steps. All is working. Thank you very much. Applause to the team. Friends, we switch to next project. They are developing web portal of public reach management and public audit using AI. National Agency of Financial Monitoring will present it. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, colleagues, dear members of jury. I will PRIMA, Public Risk Management, web portal for risk management and audit of public finance using AI. I am again quoted. The problem that we are facing is problem of reconstruction, transparency. Ukraine needs reform and investment, and investors expect to get transparency from use of money of international assistance. Our target audience are territorial community, managers and the beneficiary public funds, enterprises and personal entrepreneurs that take part in public tenders and public procurement. What will be the benefit of the project? Reconstruction of Ukraine will happen transparently, without fraud, without manipulation, without possibility to make some impact, having possibility to assess all risk issues. Our solution is web portal for risk management and audit of public finances that implements setting logics of risk, profile of risks, assessment of risk level, and the main thing, informational controlling body and the public about risks available in this or that project. The key value of the project, it seems to me that it's independent insurance of transparency of use of funds. We provide an open modern instrument for monitoring, control, and audit. We are watching the project of European Community, the C7. We know Arachne instrument, and we are ready to develop system further possibility to get integrated into other systems as soon as we become full member of EU. System of public money management, it's a complex programming solution. We think that we don't have direct competitors, but many organizations are dealing with risk at state level, commercial level. They all have their own objectives using certain set of data. We want to make it in a complex manner, transparently, and using methodology that allows to assess risk at the state, regional, and local level. And that is accessible to civil society. Unique issue is our analysis. We are using open data. We start from a simple thing, data, Prozora, spending, Dream, Logica, other sets of data. What are other possibilities? Team of the project ensures that I am Eugen Kotuk. I have introduced myself. I am professor, doctor of science. Audit is the subject that I am teaching and I am studying. Experience, technical assist, Alexander, Victor, and Timur helped me to implement the solution. We have PR specialists and fundraising specialists that will be engaged to implement non-technical works. Our project has a supervisory board. We engaged well-known people for whom audit is not just words, but it's their speciality. And they could be engaged to help us with real advice regarding our project. We signed memorandum regarding budget project, budget at MVP stage. We ask 1,098,110 hryvnias. Almost all money will be engaged for technical work, for development and programming that will allow us within 3 months to develop a set of functions and be able to launch the project. What are objectives of the project? We want to engage communities, civil society organizations, activists. We want civil society organizations to use our portal. We want to program and analyze methodologically 11 risks that we have already dealt with. We have more than 15 million transactions, agreements, and data. It's considerable data set that enables us to work MVP. We have 6,000 representatives of local communities with whom we can directly communicate about objectives, the project, and the opportunities. At MVP, we want to make basic risk that ensures sustainability and launch of the project. We provide first free access, then development will be phase by phase. Phase 1, expanded risk and subscription. Phase 2, we launch expanded functions that enable monetization. 3 months for MVP development. In parallel, we should engage grant for first version, and we must launch it before August or October. Second version, upon subscription, it has financial functions. So monetize it. We should work with universities, with scholars, with state authorities. We have signed agreement, memorandum with Financial Monitoring Academy. We want to make them advisors and allow them assess our methodology, as well as State Audit Service, Accounting Chamber, Agency for Recovery and Management and Assets, and others. We want as many people as possible know me. Now, there will be live presentations of our markups that will allow you to assess. I shall try to launch it now. How we see the design. I cannot launch it from the button for some reason.
Дякую, да.
Thank you.
Я думав, що за QR-кодом мене перекине на ваш функціонал, а там United 24.
I thought that using QR code I can get to your functions, but it's United 24 there. There are issues that are also important for the country. Video is launched. This is our main page, authorization, that we can see contracts, our counter agents, risks found in these contracts, possibility to find what is needed for community, for activists, for you, or for an auditor. You can see all these risks in the project, which information is accessible. We shall reflect all that. If they are recovery projects, especially, but system is extended for broader possibilities, then you can see all projects, their reporting regarding risks, and to launch chatbot. Prima, please assess possibility of get a grant from Datathon. Probability is lower than average, so we hope for your support and we shall make it together. Thank you.
Дуже дякуємо команді за інтерактив.
Thank team for interactive work. Questions?
В мене є декілька, я собі навіть записав.
I have several questions. I put them down. Who is the target audience? Because you named civil society organization, journalists, audit chamber, auditors, they all have different purposes. So for whom this instrument is, who is the target group? Thank you for your question. We think that our methodology will be open. Therefore, each of the mentioned state authorities, civil society organizations can assess methodologically what we made and to find risks that are of interest for them in their journalist investigation or in professional activity, auditor or ARMA or financial monitoring. We expect to have a very broad audience. Everybody will have possibility to find something interesting for their activity. If other people want to ask questions, please do it, but I have a lot of interest. 11 risks have already been analyzed. Methodologically, we understand the substance of this because they're not in public sphere. We want to get money for implementation of EP, and with the first release public, and all of you will get access to this risk. That is of interest to me because we're working a lot with procurement. There are a lot of underground problems for target audience as well. My last question, how AI learning will happen? Show it. 50 risk indicators, how that will happen? It's working. A very interesting question. We want to use our own, we have capability to teach using our model. General description is we have a risk profile, risk indicators for this profile. We have a data from Prozora and spending. We have criteria indicators, qualitative and quantitative. They have all transformed into set of data, and based on set of data,
людина буде тут
You can
допомагати?
find it.
Ризик це
Will it be done by AI or a person will help? Because risk is only an indicator. A person is working at the level of methodology, creating a profile and training of the model. We shall organize training for 11 risks, and with every new risk, we shall update the model.
Поки що час є. Чи є
We
у
have
вас
time
питання
for more
чи
questions. Other members of jury,
використати? Якщо запитань немає, ви можете використати.
you have 2 minutes. You can use it for question.
Мене чуть?
Так.
Тоді питання наступне, яким чином
The next question.
методологічно,
How do you take
чином,
into account,
наприклад,
methodologically or practically,
за
an
місяць,
example,
е,
procurement
там
risks?
за місяць декілька змін
Within 1 month,
вносять
several
відповідно
amendments are made in the law, and one should adjust risks based on these changes. Legislation is changing.
оперативно і практично
How promptly you can make it practical? Technically, there are 3 important things. First, risk profile. Risk profile must be relevant for certain real time. If law is changed and this risk is not valid, profile of the risk has its life cycle, so it terminates. Based on that, risk indicators are changed, it is included in the system, and then model goes through training. A common example, if a customer paid to the manager more than 80% of advance payment before, well, more than 100 days before launch of the project. This is indicative risk, but if legislator allows it, legislation can allow any kind of advance payment. When talking about risk, what deserves verification, whether it's real, relevant, this is an indicative risk. If after 20, 30, or 40 checkups, this indicative risk, then entire construction project will be risky a priori. I'm not talking about indicator particular risks of reconstruction in general, but just an example. Thank you very much for wonderful dialogue and wonderful presentation. Friends, we come to next project. Urban Data Analytical System in Urban Development was developed several years ago. The idea is to provide exhaustive information about construction facilities. This year they want to improve service functionality. That will increase transparency in construction center. I'm from Urban Data Project, Open Data in City Planning. Since the creation of our startup, our objective was to find unlawful construction sites. But other global project is to find construction objects where documentation has violations. Great number of people are interested of having non-legal constructions. For them not to lose money and time paying lawyers, filing complaints, they will get our data. We shall provide aggregated and consolidated information about all constructed objects in one place. Our target audience is citizens, all people, one can say. Everybody can face a problem where next to your house there is illegal construction going on. Civil society activists, local society bodies, even construction inspection at local level are interested. So central authorities provide permissions, but local departments of construction inspection don't have this information. We have thousands of illegal constructions, not only many-story buildings, but small private houses or small facilities.
Decisions that we solutions that we have up to date and what we plan to develop include the portal Urban Data.online, Debbie bot, Telegram bot, and we have planned to develop the application for iOS, Android, and Android. We have already created the prototype and tested it. We have provided for geocoding functions so that you can come to the construction site with your smartphone and read the code and then compare it with the data included in the register. We have provided for the automatic query creation, and if you have no information available, you can send your query up to the authority eligible to issue permits on the construction. We can have the search across keywords or names of the construction sites or location, uniqueness and competition. We don't have any competitors who can come up with the similar solutions. Those who aggregate data, they select specific types of facilities, residential housing complexes such as Loon database, but we aggregate information on all types of construction sites and buildings. There is no need to rely on lawyers when reviewing our data. We wanted to create the function and add functionality to allow users to add the photos to keep the track of data historically on specific construction site, and also for users to be able to track down the history of this object and how the construction was performed, etc. We are using the data of all registers related to construction industry, land, cadastral register. It is closed now, but we use the data from the pre-war period. As far as I know, very soon it will be opened again. We use the Unified State Register of Court decisions because we want to assess the level of risk of a specific construction site or court litigations. And also we would like to add address register, a register of historical monuments and the cultural sites and data from the urban planning register. All that will enable us to review the risks in a better way, potential risks including the project budget. Most of it, that is development of mobile apps for iOS and Android, and also complaint processing. People will be able to select in the menu what type of complaint they want to place, and also marketing support, and 5% of the total budget will go to support this service during the year. Timeline of the project: we have validated the app, we have developed terms of reference, and we have a clear understanding what we are doing, how and why. We plan within the next year, we expect to receive result 15,000 downloadings of the mobile app. When we tested it, we had 1,500 users who downloaded it per month. So we expect to receive about 3,000 queries, addresses, or complaints. We want to increase the number of paid services. We have some paid functionality, which allows us to carry on and ensures our sustainability. All the processes have been automated. We need minimum expenses on supporting these services, and because we rely on subscription fee, user fee, we expect to receive profit. Regarding communication plan, we have several groups: urban data we want to advance CEO, and we have experience of promoting our mobile apps, and we have experience of taking the mobile app to one of the top 10 through Google Store and other platforms. I am a lawyer, I am co-founder of the project, and I dealt with the problems I'm talking about thanks to Sergei Saraichikov, co-founder, who has experience of developing mobile apps and creating large IT systems and managing developers. Katerina is another team member, our marketing professional. She has been marketing very successfully one of our applications we developed, not related to construction, but it became one of the top 10 apps. Thank you very much for your presentation. Dear friends, your questions. Nadia, over to you. Thank you, Yuri, for your presentation. So happy to see the alumni of Open Data Challenge program. Why do you have the desire to create mobile apps? There is a web version of this interface to submit claims and to monitor illegal construction. What made you want to create the mobile app in addition to the web service? That is because people send inquiries using our portal and they know the exact location. And when we had the running app, we have seen that people come to the construction site and they can identify the address. If construction is performed next to the crossing or near subway station, if you rely on the computer, it means you have to go back home, you have to find this facility on the map and understand what it is. But if you use a mobile app, you carry your smartphone with you all the time. You can take a photo and see immediately if there is a construction permit issued to this facility or not. And now we are considering complaints, how to process complaints. If a person takes photos and hits the button form a complaint, it will be formed while the person is going home, and otherwise you have to get home and sit down near your computer and do this exercise. Can you please tell me if there is a shortage of open data? Because you mentioned that the state land cadastre register is closed, and other registers, do they exist? Are they posted in the form of open data? Construction register, yes, it is open data format, but there is no open API. We parse it. Okay, this is not open data. This is the metadata, and the land register register will be opened, and the register of court decisions, and we lack the register of addresses, and it would be good to have access to other data, RPZR. We believe it will be open, and state land cadastre register will be opened, and we would rely on it. Why do we need money? You have profit, expected profit in your project. Why do you need money? Portal is working, chatbot is practically working, but we won't be able to launch our mobile app. To launch it all, we need money. How many people do visit your website on a monthly basis? Over past 3 months, I cannot tell you, but I try to divide it by a quarter on the quarterly basis. Over 3 years, 600,000 verified documents, and that is generated by 20,000 users. There are some users that verify one document and some other verify 200 documents. So we limited and we have subscription fee so that it is free of charge to verify 1, 2, 3, or 5 documents. And
Дуже дякую за презентацію. У нас є час, і я так розумію.
some people would place about 200 queries. Thank you for your presentation. No other questions.
Що ж,
Okay.
далі. І наступна
We
команда і проект – це Address Forever.
we go ahead, and the next project is Address Forever. This is the system.
Автори проєкту
This is the system aimed at overcoming corruption in the field of funeral services, ritual services, and how to
тримайте.
curb corruption in this sector. Over to you.
Зібралися.
Okay, so your target audience is here. Potential target audience. Let's postpone it for a while. If you pitch a project and present your project, but it's your job to inspire everyone with your project. But my project is titled Address Forever. This is actually not standard project, and we suggest to pay attention to the sector, which also requires to be administered in terms of fighting corruption. We reviewed families and examined and interviewed families of deceased persons, communities, and other target audiences, and our project will benefit greatly all stakeholders we identified. The communities will receive possibility to locate on the map places for burial of deceased citizens. Our platform has already implemented and created the following: user account and partner account, communication between the users and the partners, memorial and necrologist service. Our key value is to create anti-corruption effect. We want to demonopolize the sector of funeral services and enable free access to this sector. We would like to allow all communities to place on the map free places where burial can be performed, and organize online settlement, provide for functionality to settle for the service for funeral with the service provider. And the expected result is to create the unified database of burial places, a location of the burial places on the map and free places, uniqueness and competition. Our platform Address Forever is a unique solution aimed at ensuring non-discriminatory access to all who need this service, burial service. A unified register of burial places and providing citizens with the link online access to their own accounts. This has not been done yet. We suggest to establish a system to publish rates for burial services. Our team consists of 17 professionals. The project has been established by Olena Chergutsa. She is an experienced professional. She has been working in the sector of retail services over 20 years, and we have our other team members experienced in marketing and in other project management sectors. The project budget is $29,000 at the expense of the grant and $56,000 at the expense of involving investor. Our objectives are to add 100 partners per month and 20 new communities every month. We already have some partners and we want to expand the partner database. The project sustainability can be ensured by the efforts of our marketing team. They will promote this project and they will earn some commission from sales of a service on the marketplace. The project timeline is the project will be developed within 3 months. We'll have a 2-week planning interval and with close control, including putting locations with GPS coordinates on the map. Regarding communication plan, we have signed memorandum on cooperation with several communities, Krasnosilsky community, and we implement this project, pilot this project. We also have referral program, and we conduct a marketing campaign using our channels on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and in other social media. I'm waiting for your questions. I see we'll have tons of questions. I expect traditional question. Where will you get your data from? And the second question, how is your referral program going to work? I bought your service, I bought place and cemetery, and I offer it to my friend. They use the same service. It's excellent idea. We'll try to implement it. But referral program is working for our partners. If there is an entity like ritual service provider, you are the owner of the firm, you can invite other owner of the ritual service provider, your competitor. Yes, it may be your competitor or your community or your professional. You may invite your professionals and register them, your team members register them on this platform. There is an account for you as a business person, and he and she, if you register your team members, will receive 100 hryvnias on their account, and you also will receive 100 hryvnias on your account. About open data, please. Yes, I will continue. We understand that in this sector, it's the least amount of open data, and our objective, objective, is that we have to open this data. And how we want to achieve that? We want to use the data about cemeteries available and burial places, and currently we have the pilot project with Krasnosilska community. All burials that they perform, they add to our systems throughout their account, electronic account, and they locate on the map name and exact location of person who was buried, and the register will be based on the following death certificate. In this way, the data will be verified based on what community provides us with. Of course, it is not the classical way of open data, but they must be open, and let it be a start in this project. How are you going to encourage people to open data? This is a highly corrupt sphere of activities, but they will be willing to share their data with you. We understand that this is a super corrupt sector. The project leader and owner has 20 years experience in this sector. What we used to encourage our users, free of charge use of interface. Second point, digital processing and transformation and reflection of results of their work. Will do it on a free of charge basis.
Тим, що комісія від продажів від маркетплейсу, умовно кажучи, від бізнесу ми будемо брати.
Commission fee that we take from business will be provided to communities for free. We signed one memorandum, but we have 40 more requests. We are sure that this project will work, but it will be good to have engagement of Ministry of Digitalization, that they understand that this is super important for Ukraine.
Бо там якраз прозвучало слово.
Тут уже пішло про Мінцифру, я не буду.
Since Ministry of Digitalization is mentioned, Victor preempted my question. Whether you faced resistance from amalgamated territorial communities, you come to them saying, let us introduce. They say, no. What is the percentage of those who are willing to do it and those who not? You surely understand that answer no did happen. The main obstacle in implementing this project is resistance of communities. But what is the matter? First thing that we need to realize the first pilot project with Krasnosilska community. We can demonstrate it by real case. Second, it's not bad for territorial community to have all that we provide for free. This is achievement. They have all the data processed. These are the two engines that we hope for.
Я б сказав, що в дії нормальний сервіс.
In DIA, there could be a good service. Maybe in the future, DIA program will have it. As regards target audience, you could add potential users. If I want to order this place in the cemetery for me in the future, why not? What is my question? How many burials happened realistically based on the memorandum that you signed? And a feedback. The site is too complicated, not very clear. It's not clear where to press. Without context, it's not quite clear what it is all about. Within the framework of Krasnosilska community cooperation, we're just providing them the functions. Maps are not being provided. We signed a memorandum, but they didn't provide the data yet. And we must make it on the map together with them immediately, but map will be implemented with the grant. So you don't have a clear case yet. 68% will be paid to communities. Why? Not all. We are not self-sufficient yet. We don't have users yet. And we suppose that there will be many consumers. Partners are being determined yet. We just submitted our sustainability ideas for approval. That will start only in January. Anyway, the main component of your portal, you don't have paying back, you don't have money for salary.
Дуже вам раджу прийняти цей коментар.
I will advise you to take this comment into account. Last quick question. As regards financing and budget, in follow-up what Ivan said, $56,000 money from investors. Who are these investors? This is our owner of the product. He is investing money. Using grants, we just want to realize functions for communities and for money of owner functions for business.
Так, друзі, the last but not the
Last but not least,
з вами останній на сьогодні проєкт, який
which is
буде
the last
презентуватися.
project that will be
А,
presented,
це ВПО «Назар»,
chatbot
VPO
Nazar from Nazar City Bot, created to help internally displaced persons to find employment in different parts of Ukraine. New functions will be automated monitoring of budgetary expenditures in martial law, for IDP in particular. Please come to the scene. Presentation will be online.
Передаю слово команді, яка
I
буде
give the floor to the team that will present online. Welcome you all. Hi.
Так, скажіть, будь ласка, бачите презентацію?
Can you see my presentation?
Що ж, я готов.
I'm ready.
Тоді давайте починати.
Please start.
Добре.
Good.
Війна в
Welcome all
Україні стала
again.
перепоною для корупції, а зокрема у публічних
War
закупівлях.
in Ukraine did not become an obstacle for corruption, especially in community. Martial law, involving changes in legislation, only increased corruption risk in procurement. Strategic analysis of National Anti-Corruption Agency defined 11 corruption risks that cause abuse by officials when conducting public procurement. All these risks cause situation when we have 5,000 procurement with signs of corruption that cost 15 billion. We have conducted our own study between the users of our chatbot called Nazar. More than 2,000 of IDP from 16 regions of Ukraine took part of it. As a result, almost 82% of IDP said that public control of public procurement is the main condition for reduction of corruption risk and to prevent corruption in this sphere. 94% of respondents said that they are dependent on support of the state and local budget. For them, extremely important is to control disbursement of state funds, especially for use of IDP. 57% of respondents said that they are ready to get engaged to public control. Our desire, our solution is chatbot functions, which is now functioning in Viber and Telegram, helping people, and has the audience more than 8,000. The main audience is IDPs and civil society activists, civic investigators that conduct financial monitoring of state procurement. What project plans? Functions that will allow IDP to know about all procurement in their location. In case they find the violations, they can submit an inquiry or complaint. Activists can immediately see all problems of state procurement based on corruption risk, depending on date, the customer amounts. If at least one of 11 risks defined by anti-corruption agency found, the main value increase in public control and integration of IDP in public life in the new place of residence. Anti-corruption effect to reduce corruption risks and prevent corruption in public procurement. That is especially important in martial law time. That allows to reduce 11 risks defined by anti-corruption agency to 6. Our solution allows IDP to file a complaint in case they find some difference from the information provided in turn. And proper number of services are good provided. These complaints is processed by the team, by lawyers, and then they can send official request to inquiry to the customer. All stages will be automated. That will raise efficiency work. Submission of official requests will be from partner civil society organization. Results and first steps will be provided to you in response through chatbot. The advantages. Convenient and clear submission of information to IDP. Comprehensive approach in the work with requests provided of IDP that will help to engage IDP to civic control and to public activity. To simplify, quick search of suspicious state procurements. If there are corruption risks, you can get information. And automatic receiving of updated information. Automatic response. Information about procurement based on previously entered parameters or status. Nazar system is using a set of open data, and when we increase functions, we should use additional data from Prozora procurement system in particular. For implementation of project, we need more than 1 million hryvnias. This money will be used for development new functions, legal and technical support, communication with target audience, and communication. Objectives for 2024, increase of number of users almost 2 times, up to 17,000, outreach of audience 100,000, and generation 12,000 reports in response to inquiries. In March 2024, users of chatbot start getting benefit from new functions. In April, we shall get first results. Sustainability of the project. Due to cooperation with municipalities, this is a model that we are using since 2018. Chatbot Nazar is an important part of this cooperation. Further development of the project, using volunteers in the team and using additional grant money. Project team have 5-year experience of joint work, open data projects. Apart from mentioned people, 2 lawyers are our consultants. Effective communication support could be provided for centers of support of IDPs called Mariupol. They work in 16 towns. Prozora platform, if they recommend chatbot as one of the instruments for monitoring public procurement. Mariupol Union of Young People from IDPs and other civil society projects organizations. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Are there questions from members of jury? Yanina? Thank you for your presentation. The service that has integration of IDP is different from other services that are monitoring Prozora and other projects. In fact, you could monitor procurement in the interest of IDPs using other instruments. Thank you for your question. Just look, our project and functions proposed have 2 key differences from existing services. First of all, automatic search of procurement that have corruption risk. We automated it based on certain corruption risks defined by anti-corruption agency. Thus, we simplify and accelerate this process. Second, other key difference, engagement of IDPs into public control or public procurement, in particular, regarding IDPs themselves. This is important not only for development of civil society, but for reintegration of IDPs in the public life in the new place of residence. Therefore, our project has no direct competitors, only related projects. The proposed project will become an integral part of entire anti-corruption system of Ukraine. Since starting from last year, we are working with IDPs already. We have our own audience. We have our partner organizations that will provide communication support among target audience and engage this audience effectively to public control over public procurement. More questions?
Мене випередили з питанням, тому що мені здається, також назва
You have preempted my question.
переміщених осіб, а більше
In the title, you mention IDPs, but your focus is mainly at procurement. Although in the chatbot itself, there are other services. My question was, on the slide it was mentioned, now I shall find it, number of services, 13,700 services. Number of users, 8,000. What kind of services were provided? You probably look at the information on our website. Probably yes. Just look, since now in the service, there are services help in finding jobs and help in receiving compensation for ruined housing. We added all that gradually. First, help to find jobs, then help to find compensation. We agreed these functions with local authority. That was their request. They wanted this. Number of users is less than number of services because the same user asked about many things. Looking for jobs, because many IDPs do not have stable job. When the user is using it, they can get subscription, and we shall find periodically the vacancies. These are number of services. Then services to get compensation for ruined housing. It's very much in demand. Number is 2 or 3 times more than number of people. More questions, please? No more questions. Thank you very much for the presentation and for getting engaged. Thank you for the possibility to speak. Friends, that is the last project presented. All 10 projects were pitched, and now tension is growing because it's time to let jury go and make a decision. We have plus minus 30 minutes for their decision. If jury decides it earlier than 30 minutes, we shall come back earlier, both online and offline in this location. My request to you is don't leave. Wait for announcement of result. Jury has about 30 minutes to make their decision. We look forward to get you here in about 30 minutes time. Thank you.
Вітаємо ще раз, шановні гості і онлайн-глядачі. Ми
Welcome, dear guests and online viewers. We came back to announce the results and award our winners. And we also have several pleasant surprises in the final of our competition. Open Data for Ukraine has been organized by the TAPAS project together with the Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine, and the project partner East Europe Foundation. TAPAS project is transparency and accountability in public administration and services implemented by USAID and UKAID. Are you ready? Okay, I suggest we announce the winning teams, and once we call your name, we ask you to come to this podium. The first project that will be awarded funding, that is Open Data Bot. Applauses. Congratulations. And here is your award. Stay with us. You will be joined by other teams. Next project, I'll be mother. Congratulations. Come here.
Фото на згадку. Так, добре.
Photo. Now, two more projects, and the next project is accessible. Congratulations.
Клас. Так,
Ooh.
і last but not the least, це
And last but not least is Clarity Community. Your applauses.
Так. Я все далі і далі посуваюся для того, щоб привітати
And
Ще раз
I
оплески
am
переможцям.
moving away to give you place here on this podium. Round of applauses for our winners.
Так, є. Відпускаємо наших переможців. Дякую.
So we let you go. Thank you so much. Friends, but that's not all. And we have the special prize, special award, and I invite Nadia to this floor to announce this special prize. I'm very happy to welcome the winners of the grand competition when we conducted review of your projects pitched with the jury members, it was very difficult. Not all projects are awarded grants, and we developed another kind of award, such as mentorship support, to improve your projects, to allow you to have a chance to win in the future. And I would like to give a floor to invite to this floor the project Address Forever. I believe you can work together with the mentor to improve your vision and your project description and to receive a grant. We did not prepare a certificate for you, but we're happy that you got this award. But that's not all, dear friends. For all participants that have not received grants today, we have an award as a subscription to Grammarly service, premium subscription for 3 months. You can see Lilia, one of the organizers of this event, and Lilia will issue you your promotion certificates. Dear friends, our event is coming to an end, and we thank you, dear teams, project teams. Some of you have presented the project in person, and some of them joined us online. Anyway, you pitched your projects. They are of great societal importance. Nowadays, on behalf of organizers, we wish you fruitful work over your projects, and all the grantees. I wish you good luck and success in implementing your projects. Subscribe to us, stay tuned, and see you soon.